Sisu, Road to Revenge is a brutal action movie that purposefully goes for a lean and mean execution, but that doesn't mean there isn't a deeper story going on under the surface. The sequel to 2022 Sisu, it brings back the Finnish Aatami Korpi, known to the public as the Immortal for his exceptional battlefield skills. The film focuses on his efforts to bring the house he once had with his family back into Finnish territory, which catches the attention of the Soviet Union. What follows is an action movie that goes back and forth from darkly hilarious to jaw-droppingly brutal, all while exploring a story about trauma and loss. Why Igor Dragunov is after Aatami Korpi. Sisu, Road to Revenge is a wild escalation of the first film, pitting Korpi against his Russian equivalent and steadily revealing just how personal their feud is. Dragunov is quickly established as a former agent of the Soviet Union whose previous crusades across Finland killed countless innocents. This includes Korpi's family. Reasoning that Dragunov is the only person alive who can contend with the Immortal, the Soviet leadership frees him from prison and sets him off against Korpi. Much of the film follows Korpi's attempts to reach the Finnish border with the remains of his family home, while Dragunov throws the entire weight of the Soviet army against him. While Sisu benefited from a tense game of cat-and-mouse between Korpi and the Nazi soldiers who encountered him, Sisu, Road to Revenge is far more rooted in a personal conflict. Dragunov is defined in direct contrast to Korpi, with both men having similar skill sets and disregard for their enemies. Notably, both men seem to have a similar perspective on killing in the moment, but deal with the memory of their actions very differently. Dragunov brags to Korpi that the screams of his victims blend together, and the character is portrayed as an almost cartoonishly black and white villain. However, it's somewhat similar to Korpi's own disregard for his enemies. However, while Dragunov takes some pride in his work and seeks to break the Immortal for the thrill of it, Korpi is shown to be haunted by his past. In the film's final moment, even people coming to help him reconstruct his house initially come across as a threat. Korpi is visibly taken aback when he doesn't have to fight the men, and is almost tearful when they help. This is a clear display of the lingering humanity that keeps Korpi true to the memory of his family. It's something played with slightly in the first film, but becomes more pronounced in the final moments of Road to Revenge. Does Sisu, Road to Revenge set up a sequel? Sisu, Road to Revenge is a fairly self-contained story, concluding with Korpi avenging his family by killing Dragunov before completing his journey home. The film ends with Korpi reconstructing his family home in Finnish land, with the help of the locals. The final shot, which plays over the credits, even serves as a potentially fitting finale for the character. That's not to say he couldn't return. One of the things that makes the two Sisu films so appealing is their straightforward simplicity. There's an effectiveness to the plain approach that makes it easy to imagine other characters interacting with Korpi and gaining his animosity. In theory, Korpi could be drawn into further conflict with the Soviets, especially if his actions in their territory were considered an act of aggression by the army. The Finnish government could recruit Korpi for another adventure, or even just an innocent civilian could call upon him for help. As of this writing, the future of Korpi is up in the air. Both the film's writer, director Jalmari Helander and star Jorma Tamila have expressed interest in a potential third film, but there's no concrete plan for a follow-up. The ending of Sisu, Road to Revenge reflects this. The final shots of the film, framed like photographs of Korpi and his new Finnish neighbors building the house, could be seen as an induction into their community. This could give Korpi plenty of reasons to defend the town and its people, setting up easy narrative paths for a third film. Conversely, the pictures could be taken as a final epilogue for the character, proof that he was able to put down his weapons and take up tools to rebuild the family home. Given his endurance after the loss of his family and the pain of his battles, letting him have that bittersweet but content ending could be a fitting finale. The true meaning of Sisu, Road to Revenge credit, MoveStillDB. Sisu, Road to Revenge is a fairly straightforward story about a man trying to move a building from Russia to Finland, and all the challenges he encounters along the way. However, it's also very much a movie that reckons with unintended legacy and lingering trauma. Korpi is a killing machine, but he's also haunted by memories of the family he lost and the struggles of constantly having to fight for his life. Dragunov and the Soviets want to break the illusion of the Immortal, hoping to turn his unexpected legendary status into an asset of their own control by breaking him. Korpi's fury over his family's fate gives him the resolve to do some truly ridiculous things, but it's also left him a quiet shell of a man who barely says a word across two films. Even his new neighbors recognize this in him, acknowledging that he can't speak to his trauma even as they recognize it and want to help.